All right, we're going to look at the idea of checks and balances. This is another idea by Baron de Montesquieu that we have to remember. Starts off with but equal. Dividing the powers of government was just the first step. Each part of the government needed to be balanced with the other parts. So Montesquieu thought that each of the parts or the branches of government should be equal. He worried that if one branch had more power than the others, that people would suffer and they would lose their liberties, meaning they would lose their freedoms. And so to avoid this, he suggested that each branch have the ability to limit the power of the other two branches. See, in England, if the king had tried to take too much control, then you have Parliament or the courts that could step in and stop him or act to stop him. Today, we call this system of checks and balances. In the United States, our system of checks and balances allows each branch of the government to check or to stop the acts of another branch to prevent any one branch from gaining too much power. So the definition here is a checks and balances. Okay, it allows each of the three branches of government to stop another branch from doing something that would allow them to have too much power. So sometimes we see, like, if our president comes out with an executive order, we have the Supreme Court who can step in and say, whoa, 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 that executive order is unconstitutional. So you have one branch, the president would be the executive branch, who makes an executive order, kind of like a law. And then you have the Supreme Court, another branch, our judicial branch, who steps in and goes, whoa, 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 you can't do that. And even at the state level, our executive at the state of Florida is our governor. Our governor currently is Governor Ron DeSantis. And DeSantis came out with an executive order from the state government level and saying that, like, school districts cannot mandate that students wear masks statewide. And that executive order from the governor, came out, so I don't know, a few weeks ago. Well, then our courts, our state courts here in Florida, actually struck that executive order down and said he can't do that, and that is it's not allowed. And so whenever our courts did that to our governor at the state level, we even see how these three branches can limit each other, right? They each have the power to stop or limit the others. So the executive can't be too powerful if you have courts who can balance out that power with the ability to stop or say, whoa, 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 that breaks, our Constitution, or that goes against people's rights. So we have these three separate branches, and not only do they each have their own distinct powers, like separation of powers says, they each have the ability to check and balance each other out. Okay, so you're going to define in your own words here, and you're going to draw a picture. The last paragraph says, sound familiar. James Madison, the father of our Constitution, he liked the idea that each branch of the government should have a clear role. As a result, the U.S. Constitution clearly explains what each branch is supposed to do. You have Congress, who makes the laws, you have the president, who enforces the laws, and we even have the courts who interpret the laws. Each branch has the power to check or limit the other branches, and this keeps all the branches of government balanced and equal. So question 7, what three ideas from Montesquieu are written in the U.S. Constitution? So we have Congress who makes the laws, we have a president who enforces the laws, and we have courts that interpret the laws. And these are three ideas Montesquieu came up with, that we should have three separate branches. They should each have a distinct part and a distinct role and be able to limit each other. You can use those as your 3 points. They are written out in Articles 1, 2, and 3 of our Constitution. This quote for number 8, it says, when the legislative and the executive powers are united in the same person or in the same body of magistrates, meaning the same body of leaders, there can be no liberty. So I'm going to explain, kind of summarize in my words, and you're going to then write out in your own words what the quote means. And then we're going to connect it to Montesquieu's ideas. So when the legislative, meaning the branch who makes the laws, and the executive branch are united into the same person or the same group of people, you can't have freedom. You can't have liberty that way. So if you look at back over here, it shows a picture of the legislative and the executive are separated, right? Well, this quote is saying when the legislative branch and the executive branch, the people who make the laws and the people who enforce the laws, are all bound into one person or one group of people, and they have all that power, that's too much power. And you can't have liberty or freedom when one group of people has all the power or when one branch has all that power, right? So what idea of Montesquieu's does this quote match? So they're saying that you should not be uniting the branches together into one branch. You need to be separating those branches out. And so which Which idea do we go over of Montesquieu's? We covered checks and balances and separation of power. Those are his two main ideas. Which of those two ideas is the one that matches this quote? When you're done with that, the last page you have to complete is this one here, and there are a few questions that you need to answer. Basically, you're filling in the blanks with what answer you think it is based on the reading and the notes that we took throughout the lesson. All right, good luck.